Also say what gets frustrating for men, and I'll kind of be an advocate in a little bit, is to say that a lot of women, they don't seem to want to take any accountability. And it seems like when a man wants to take a little bit of accountability, the woman's like, yeah, he needs to take accountability. And it seems like, man, we're wearing all of this weight. We're taking all of this burden. You need to take accountability first before I take accountability. So it's this tug of war that's saying, hey, you do your part, then I'll do my part. And now we're competing. But I think if we can recognize the way that God designed us, God designed women as receptive beings.
Yes.
Biologically, the egg is a receptive organism that receives the seed. The man gives the seed. Even biologically, anatomically, the man has to give himself to the woman. The woman receives the man inside of her. And women are responsive by nature. It's almost like parents. You know, if we all have black parents that they whoop us with the belt, and they'll get mad that we scream and cry. Don't be, shut your mouth. I'm like, it hurts. I'm screaming because you hit me. And so we as men are literally whipping and being mad at the scream.
Right.
We are men that are causing and being mad at the response or the effect of the cause. If we could take our time to say, hey, this is how we've contributed, and this could potentially be a response. Like, okay, these women are doing this. These women are not moving like this. Like my brother said so eloquently, I love that. She's moving in so much pride. But I'm expecting her to move in all this humility when all I want to do is lead in arrogance. All I'm doing is I want her to be subservient, and I want her to be under my control, and I need her to move like this, and I'm not leading and pouring that in for her to give that back. Miles Monroe says that stuff a lot. Like, man, she gives back or gives you back in multiples what you pour in. And so at the end of the day, men, if we realize the way women are designed by nature over time, if we give them the right things,
Right.
we pour in the right things, then eventually they begin to give back what we pour in.
But see, I think I want to add this in here too, because I think we have a distorted view of what fair is in manhood. Because I don't think,
Break that down.
because the reality of it is, it's really not fair when it comes to responsibility and accountability. Actually, my mom actually taught me a very important lesson of accountability in manhood that I didn't even know I was learning. Shout out to anybody who was the oldest in their household. You might have learned this lesson too.
Yes, that's it.
My mom only spoke to the oldest.
Wow.
She only gave the rules to the oldest.
That's a good one. Wow.
She'll walk straight up to me and she'll tell me exactly what needs to happen. Make sure nobody don't leave this house. Make sure that person cleans the room. Make sure this happened. Make sure that happened. And make sure this and that happened. My mom comes home. They haven't done what they're supposed to do. I get my ass whooped. And I'm pissed. I thought that was just so unfair. I told them to do it. They didn't want to do this. She did. I told you to make sure that this was supposed to happen. And as a kid, I didn't realize that that's a leadership principle.
Yeah, it is.
Because I was the one that was entrusted with the role, the responsibility, and the instruction from my leader to be able to make sure everything was carried out. And if I was a better leader, then what would have happened was it would have been order, and everything would have gotten done. But because I was half-assing leadership, the jobs were not carried through. And I perceived that as it being unfair, that I was the only person that received punishment.
Yeah, no,
and see,
that's
men,
good.
Men,
that's good, bro.
We want it to be fair.
Yeah.
We want to be the leaders. We want all the submission. We want all to be entrusted with all of the power that comes and responsibility that comes with a man, but not also the unfair accountability that comes with the manhood.
Because it's very powerful. Because what you just said is literally what happened in the garden.
Yes, sir.
God told Adam all the instructions. Eve came along and ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And when God approached him in the garden, who did he walk up to? Adam. He approached Adam and said, "What have you done?" Yeah. And the first thing he said, "The woman you gave me." Right. Right.
There's something wrong with this woman.
There's something wrong, but he approached Adam because he gave the command to him. Yeah. Right. And he entrusted him with that leadership. You know what I'm saying? And I think what God wants us to do is to be like Christ.
Bro. You see, this is how you know people aren't rooted in reality. When you was a kid and your mama beat your ass because your siblings didn't clean up, what they really expected, what your mama expected you to do was actually do the cleaning. So if they didn't do it, you had to do it. That's what the expectation was. It wasn't lead them to make them clean up, because the siblings that had the power to make their siblings clean up also had the power to beat their siblings' ass. When you had that older sibling that was like 18, 19 years old and they still live with mama, and she told him, make sure your brothers and sisters clean the house, you also had the power to whoop them. You also had the power to punish them. You also had the power to tell them they can't go outside when they couldn't go outside. You also had the power to take their game away. You also had the power to take their toys away. When you was in that position, your position didn't come with all responsibility and no power. And this is where he got wrong in the scenario of today. Men aren't asking for unfair power. They're saying, if you're gonna give half our power away, then you also got to give them the responsibility of that power. If you're gonna give them the power, you got to give them the responsibility. You don't get to give them the power and keep giving the power away and then say, oh, but I'm only gonna hold you responsible if they fuck up. But the question I was gonna ask the fellas on the panel was, and then I'll let y'all give context to what he just said afterwards. Have y'all ever had a problem leading boys and men in large? Have y'all ever had a problem getting boys and men to move in a direction? Not a few bad apples. For the most part, the group of boys and men, you were able to get them to move in one direction.
Not at all. I've been a leader all my life. I was brought up that way. I don't know about you gentlemen, but if you had active fathers, have you ever heard that? I think Trev said it a second ago. My father instilled in me at a young age, be a leader, not a follower, right? You lead by example. You lead also with your words. And I've just never known anything else.
What about you, Shane? You ever had a problem leading boys and men on a common goal, getting them to move in the direction you needed them to go in?
No, and I don't think anybody has, because typically the ones that follow you want to be. It's we the willing, like that's the whole thing. It's we the willing. So the ones that get in line are there. Our issue is the ones that, man, I ain't fucking with them, and they don't even show up. That's the issue that we're having. But no, I haven't had any problems with the ones that fell in line.
And what's crazy about that is that we say that we live in a society where all these boys and men are raised by women, but somehow, some way, we can still move them. Why is it that the problem is again, I said it earlier, when you give somebody the power to do what the fuck they want to do. See, the thing is, men, we understand we can't do what the fuck we want to do. Either you get in line or you fall by the wayside and you die. We know that. It is what it is. You can't, there ain't no way around it. Life has a way of knocking you on your ass. So when Trev come in and when JR is on this panel, he tell us, hey, bro, I need y'all to chill. I'm moving on to the next topic. Either we can get with it or he'll hit the get gone button and you'll never be up here again. And we're willing. And so what happens is we're dealing with a group of people, by and large, that only want to be led in the direction that they want to go in. If you're not going in the direction they want you to go in, they're not going to follow you. And it is what it is.
So, Swinny, according to the video, we're talking about relationships specifically now. So, as far as women are concerned, right, or just men in general, what powers do we not have that you think we should have that would make us or help us to be more effective leaders?
See, the thing is that I don't think we have to be that anymore to them. I think we should, all they need is the responsibility and accountability that comes along with it. And that's what men have been trying to do. The thing is, we can't do nothing about, you can't unring the bell. Once we run that bell, you can't unring it. They got what they got. All we can do is say, okay, with that comes accountability. So when you fuck up, we're going to treat you like you fucked up, just like we treat everybody else out there. You said you want to lead yourself. Lead yourself. You say you want to move to the beat of your own drum. Move to the beat of your own drum. But when you fuck up, Don't expect me to come in and save you. Don't expect me to come in and fall on the bullet, take the bullet for you. Don't expect me to come in and fall on the grenade for you. Don't expect me to come in and clean it up.
So right now, you feel like we should just throw our hands up and say the hell with leadership as men and leading our families?
We have no problem with leadership as men because we still move forward in society. We're still creating. We're still doing everything. Everything is still moving forward. We're creating every single day, innovative every single day, moving in a common direction. But when it comes to this relationship thing, if they don't want to follow you, they want to move to the beat of their own drum, you let them. But you don't go in and you try to save them when they fuck up. You don't eat that responsibility. We got to stop eating the failure of people who don't want to be a part of a solution. Let them do their thing. And when you fuck up, you got to eat it.
Yeah, I don't agree with it because it's not functional, right? It's not working. We're looking at what's happening in the society. It's not working. We're going in a really horrible direction right now as far as the family unit. We were just talking about how we don't have community. And it starts with the home. It starts with the nuclear family. And then when you got people running around here talking about blow the nuclear family up, no pun intended, it's toxic and it's not going to work.
Well, the reason why it's not working is because they never got the responsibility of it. They never got the accountability of it. You can't, if I can do what I want and then I don't have to have no responsibility for what I do and how I go out into the world, it would never work. We keep trying to eat their failure. That's why it's not working. And the thing is that, like I said, you can't unring the bell. So you can't stick everything back in the box and say, all right, well, we gonna make y'all do this. No, it's once you give them the power, you have to give them the responsibility. They've never had the responsibility to atone for the things that they do in the world. That's why it's not working.
So you can see yourself in a situation like that, Sweeney, where you're not leading. You would be good with that?
I'm not talking about myself. I'm also not experiencing this problem. We're talking about women and men in general. And women in general are not following men. So why do you keep trying to force somebody to do what you want to do? And then every time they mess up, you say, well, I'm going to come in and take responsibility. Because that's all we're doing is basically telling men, hey, you need to take responsibility for what people who have all the autonomy in the world to do what they want and go left when you want to go right. And we keep telling them, hey, you need to figure out a way to fix that person rather than letting that person fall on their own shit. Because we won't tell any.
I think we should leave them. I think we should leave those type of people alone. To be honest.
But that's what most of them are. They don't want to follow nobody. They can't be led.
That can't be by the model you get. You said most of them. So that means you're talking about the majority. Now you're supposed to leave the majority by the wayside rather than fight to correct a trend that is going in the wrong way and win back the community and the household. So you're saying divest from them. If you're saying, which came out your mouth, the majority of them, you can't give up on the majority of women out here if you feel that they're going astray and you can't tell them nothing. You have to keep fighting.
No, I said that you have to let them eat the cost of their failures.
You said the majority.
I said you can't be right, but the majority of them. So I'm not saying turn your back on them. I'm saying that you have, when they do something that messes up, the only thing you can do is the same thing we do to men. When you mess up, Kenny, if you mess up, we hold you accountable for your actions. We come in, you go to jail, you get in trouble, you lose your shit, you lose your house, you lose your home, you whatever we want to do to hold you accountable, we would do that. What I'm saying that we're doing for women is every time they fuck up, we run in and try to take on the responsibility for why they fucked up instead of saying, you fucked up, this is how you fucked up, this is a consequence of you fucking up. What you gonna do about it?
You want
so Sweeney, I think it's more unrealistic to try to have women accept accountability.
That's
in my opinion.
Crazy. What?
It came out your mouth.
If you said it makes no sense,
no.
Like,
so you think
so you say it's impossible to hold women accountable, but we could give them all the power and autonomy. But you're saying that it's more possible for us to strip them of their autonomy and the shit that we gave them. We gave them all the power in the world. So you're saying that it's easier to take all that power back than it is to hold them accountable for their actions?
You just changed the paradigm of your question. Don't do that. Go back.
I didn't. I asked the question that I asked.
No, you didn't.
You can't tell me. Yes, I did. The question I just asked is the question I asked. See, this is man, bro. It is what it is. Y'all can keep trying to do that shit. I'm leaving their ass by the wayside. Y'all keep trying to fall on that bullet if you want to, and y'all gonna keep getting the same result.
Sweeney,
You're gonna bump
Sweeney, you know
your
the
head
beautiful
over and
thing.
over again.
Sweeney, you know the beautiful thing about why you jumping up on your soapbox? You're married. You ain't got to save nobody. Like you said.
Trav is married.
Back. Okay, so wait.
Hink is in a relationship.
I'm talking
Marcus
to
is
you.
married.
I am talking to you, the one who's up on the podium. I'm talking to you.
Come
so
on,
it's not
hold
your
me
problem.
accountable. School me on some shit that I don't know.
School you on some stuff you don't know.
School
How
me on
long
some
you
shit
been
I
out?
don't know.
So how long you been out the dating market?
What does that matter?
You just can't answer.
Y'all
question,
talk
right?
enough. I haven't been in the dating market for 14, 15 years. How does that matter with what I just said?
So would you say you
keep saving them? How's that working out for you?
That's what you do.
Please tell me, how's that been working out for you? Because you on this panel.
Have a civil
how's that been
discussion.
working out?
Hold on, Sonny. You gotta let him finish. Let him finish.
Because you want to attack my life. Let's find out.
Now I'm attacking you.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I just used the wrong word. You're right, bro. But you saying I've been out the dating game for 14, 15 years. I grant you that. Now tell me how it's been working out for you falling on that sword.
How's it been working out for me?
Falling on that sword. Yep.
Okay, so wait. So now I was asking you a question and you saw what you just did?
Go ahead.
How are you asking me a question and you're unwilling to answer mine?
What's your question?
See, here's the ill thing
about the only question I heard you ask was how long I've been out the dating game, and I said 14 years. I did answer. Was that your question?
Oh my God.
Was that your question?
It's hard to have a discussion,
man.
What's
that your question? Bro, we're having a meta conversation. Was that or was that not your question?
No, I wasn't able to fully pose my question because you kept doing what you were doing.
I'm ready. I'm listening.
Okay, so I'm not attacking you, right?
I just said I used the wrong
passionately. Word. You're speaking passionately about something that you've been out of for the last 14 to 15 years. Yes, you have a voice because you're a man within this community. But you also said the majority of women are acting this way and you should divest from them. That's why
I didn't say that.
People stay. That's why people stay quiet and listen to you, because sometimes you go on these long.
Saying divest. When did I say that? Don't put words in my mouth.
Did I say divest?
Yes, I didn't say divest.
You gotta know that was my word.
You just used it.
You said, yeah, that's my word. You said leave him on the wayside, didn't you?
Does that mean divest when I gave you context? You always preach about
that's
context.
That's a synonym to divest, isn't it?
You can't say no because you're using you're ignoring my context that I clearly gave you.
How am I? If you're saying leave them at the wayside, that means discard.
When did I say that?
Okay, let's see if we can move the conversation so that we're not getting stuck, right? Okay, so Sweeney, clarify what it is. I mean, either Kenny make the point, but somebody got to listen in order for us to get through it.
Well, let me say it one more time for Kenny. You hold them responsible for their actions. You don't keep falling on the sword every time they fuck up. That is not divesting. That is holding them accountable like you will hold any other person, any other man in the community accountable when you give them power. You hold them accountable. You treat them the same way you treat everybody else. That doesn't mean divest. That means treat them like every other person that got responsibility in the community and power and autonomy.
So do you have the power to do that?
Yes, we as a society do have the power to do that.
You as a man have the power to do that?
Yes.
No, you don't. You have the power to tell a woman, boo. You don't have the power to raise your voice at a woman within a workplace. You don't have the power to correct. You don't have the power to give a woman guidance, because she can always turn it like you turn innocent questions into whatever you choose to put it in. They can frame whatever they wish to say about what you just said and empower it to make
how do you hold the man in your life accountable?
Huh?
When a man in your life fucks up and they do something wrong, and again, when I say hold accountable, I mean let them experience the consequences of their actions. Stop falling on a sword. Stop trying to eat the accountability for them.
Please don't get long in the tooth again. You asked a simple
I'm not getting
question.
long in the tooth.
It doesn't need a monologue. You asked the question.
All right.
How do I hold men accountable? If those are like-minded people where I can have the discussion, clear the grievance, and come to an amicable agreement or disagreement or agree not to agree, we handle it that way.
Okay.
If it's something violent, I try not to go there because I know
Okay.
I'm a man over 50. You ain't putting your hand on me and I ain't leaving you there. So I try to avoid those things because I have my mindset on that. You understand? So I try my best to walk it back. So said individual, if it was man to man, that we can come to agreement so it doesn't go past words.
But I
Because
mean,
that
that's
is
not
one
what he
thing I can't
asked.
That's
tolerate.
not what I asked.
But he
Huh?
was saying, how do you, as a man, leading other men, right? If a man
That's
in
not
your
what he
life,
said.
somebody
He said, how do I handle disagreements with other
he
men?
didn't
That's
say
what he just said.
But no, I didn't. That's not what
he
I
didn't,
asked.
bro. He's saying basically, how do you, if you have to hold a man in your life accountable for fucking up as a man, as a leader, how do you do that? Would it be any different than the way you would lead a woman? You saying you can't tell a woman
Okay,
nothing,
so
this, that, and the
wait.
other?
So I can
I
answer that
disagree.
easy. I can answer that easy. If I misheard, I misheard. If that is the question asked to me, I present the grievance that I have. And if that man is like-minded and sees the grievance and we could discuss it, then we can put it to bed. If he's not seeing the grievance, I move away from it. And then I make a judgment call as if this is someone that I can continue having relationships, or if I have to distance myself from that one. Because when men get past words and things get past in agreements, they make a judgment on how they see you at that point.
And Kenny, I don't even mean if you have a conflict with someone. I mean, if you see a
I
man
gave
out
you
there,
two paradigms.
I know, I know.
I gave you
What
two
I'm saying
parts.
is, I'm just trying to get you to understand a little bit further what I'm trying to say. If you saw me outside acting a damn fool, talking shit to somebody, or walking the street, fucking up people's shit and everything, what do you, or if I say, for instance, I don't do right by my kids or something like that, how do you, when it's time to hold me accountable, how do you do it?
You threw in too many paradigms. You got to pick one.
When you see me out there being anything less than of what a man is supposed to be in society, that's whether I'm not right, doing right by my kids, whether I'm out there doing wrong by the community, i.e. selling drugs to the community, robbing people, some shit like that. If I'm acting unruly or I'm talking shit to somebody, acting loud in public, how do you hold me accountable in society? How would you do it?
Okay, that is a judgment call. You got to be able to read the room. Is this someone that I can speak to and hold accountable? Because not every man you can hold accountable. You could say something as for guidance to another brother and end up with a bullet in your back. You understand? So you have to be very mindful of discussions you have within leadership, or be able to adjust the conversation if the person is willing to have it. Brother, that's not the right way.
If I'm
And
robbing
make
people,
So I want to just say, you know,